Hey y'all, Justin with Kayak Catfish. Well, I am in the mood to catch some fish today, and I hope you are too, because that's what we're going to do today, and lots of them. I'm going to be doing some ultralight fishing with Gulp minnows for whatever bites, and hopefully a lot of them are biting. So I'm going to just turn the camera here in my chest, and we're going to get after it, man. I'm going to show you my rig, and we're going to start fishing. I planned on coming back here to this culvert in this creek, but you can see there's all these leaves and stuff coming out of here. It's going to be hard to cast up in there. I looked up in there, there's more coming along with this big clump, so we're going to work the shoreline and work our way on back out of here. But this is what we're going to be throwing. This is a Gulp minnow in the smelt color, 1 inch in size. This right here is my favorite bait. If you're new to my channel or new to my ultralight videos, this bait right here catches an absolute ton of fish. I've got that on a 1/64 ounce jig head with a number 8 size hook, 2-pound test line on my ultralight rod. That's a St. Croix Panfish Series rod with a 1000 size Daiwa reel. And I'm gonna back it up here and get away from some of these leaves the best we can, and we're gonna start casting and see what all we can catch today. This video, it's gonna be raw and uncut, unedited, unfiltered, just like you were out here fishing with me. Good, bad, ugly, the fish we catch, the fish we don't, any crazy stuff that happens, y'all gonna see it all. That's the goal of these unedited videos, is to bring you on a real fishing trip, one that's just like we were sharing a boat together. So I'm gonna make a bunch of casts down here. We're gonna throw at everything, all these limbs and stuff. As we make our way on up out of this creek, there'll be some docks that we come up on. We're going to have a lot of options down through here. But I wanted to come out here and start at the back of it because I thought this would probably be the warmest water in this creek today. The water here, we're into fall now, November. Our water temperatures are really starting to drop. And so it's probably low 60s, I would imagine, out in the main channel, just guessing. I don't have a graph on this kayak. I'm in my Old Town kayak with what I call my bare bones setup. No motors, no electronics, live scope, fish finder, nothing. Just human powered. One rod out here today. A rod, some jig heads, and some Gulp. That's all we need today to catch us a bunch of fish. But since I don't have a graph, I don't know the water temperature situation, but just common sense would say, well, you got a warm, bright, sunny day, the shallower part of this creek is going to be a little warmer than out in the main channel. So I thought there'd be more fish back here, maybe more bait back here. I'm really not seeing a lot all the way in the back. When I was coming back through here, I saw some fish probably 200-300 yards up ahead of us. That seemed to be where there was a lot of shad flipping and stuff. So they may be kind of concentrated in there, but we'll just kind of fish our way up through there. If we get bit along the way, great. If not, well, we'll get them when we get there. Them fish got nowhere to go, so they said they'd wait on us to get up through there. Nice of them to accommodate us like that, ain't it? I done seen some adult activities going on my way down through this creek. I heard a commotion up in the woods, and Bambi was being chased by a male suitor, I guess you could say. And he looked like a pretty nice deer. I mean, he had some big antlers on him, so apparently in the deer world, no doesn't mean no. With humans, no means no. With deer, no means no until I catch you. And he was hot on her tail, so there was all kinds of stuff happening up there. But I just made my way to the back of it here and said, you know, we're going to go catch us some fish today. I'm in the mood for it, man. I just want to catch a bunch of fish. I don't care what they are. I just want to get a bunch of bites and get a tug on this ultralight rod. My ultralight audience and my live stream audience has heard me talk about taking a trip down to Del Hollow Lake. I say down to, over to would probably be the better way to phrase it. Del Hollow is up on the Tennessee-Kentucky border. And beautiful place. I mean, if you've never been there, it's worth the drive just to drive around it. I mean, it's beautiful countryside. Undeveloped. The shorelines are just basically forest. It's forest and rocks. You don't have a bunch of houses and docks and stuff. I mean, it's just pristine country. And it is a smallmouth fisherman's paradise. I mean, it's world renowned for smallmouth bass. And also mirror carp, oddly enough. But I took a trip out there finally the other day. We had a warm day, and there wasn't no wind in the forecast. And I said, you know, today's the day. I'm going to make the drive. And Del Hollow is about 2 hours and 15 minutes, give or take, depending on traffic. Oh, here comes somebody. Up there about to bank fish right here, y'all. Let's move along. But yeah, Del Hollow, we'll go over here on this side. That way we don't impede any bank fishermen. But Del Hollow, couple hour drive each way. And I went out there, high expectations, thinking I was going to tear up some smallmouth, maybe get some big bluegill, maybe some crappie, you know, who knows, a little bit of everything. And I did catch some fish. I did, but not to what my expectations were. I fished about 3 hours trying to film. And during that time I had, I think, 2 bluegill. I had I don't really know what they're called. They look like a green sunfish except they're brown. And they got red eyes. Rock bass maybe? I think that's what they're called. I caught one of those, and I caught 5 or 6 smallmouth, but none of them were they didn't have any size to them. They were like 6-8 inches. I spent part of the time throwing a 1-inch gulp and part of the time throwing a 3-inch. I held the 3-inch gulp up to a couple of them smallmouth, and the dang smallmouth wasn't much bigger than the gulp. It was embarrassing. So after about 3 hours, I got frustrated and I said, heck with it, I'm done filming. I ended up fishing another hour or so. Still didn't do any good, so I come on home, tail between my legs. I just couldn't get it going that day for whatever reason. It just wasn't meant to be. So, long drive to catch a handful of fish. About 4.5 hours it took me, round trip, you know. But it was beautiful sights, beautiful countryside. I'm telling you, if you ain't never been there and you're within a reasonable drive, just take a day trip, go out there and drive around, look at everything. It's worth it. Yeah, we'll just make our way along here, throw at these docks and stuff. Right in down through here was where I was seeing more bait. I was seeing some shad flipping down through here, so I'm hoping we get on into some bluegill and white bass, yellow bass, maybe some largemouth, smallmouth, skipjack possibly. We could get a variety of things back here. Everything should be in this creek right now. I didn't bring a cooler or a bait bucket or anything. Won't be keeping no baits today. You're probably seeing this video out of order. Most of my videos go in chronological order of when they're filmed. But it's been a while since I posted a raw and uncut video. What have I got here? Oh, that's a fish. I thought I was snagged and then it give. What is this? I don't know what this is, y'all, but we got something here. I thought I was snagged in a piece of brush or something. At first it didn't give, and then it did, and then it took off. This fish may have knocked it out of the brush pile that I was in. Oh boy, he's back up under me here. I'm worried he's gonna rub that line on my kayak or my pedal drive. That 2-pound line, you don't have any abrasion resistance, buddy. Man, he is going the wrong way. Let's raise our pedal drive up here just in case. Okay, he's behind us now. He's going that way. Let's put the pedals back down and go chase him. Well, this is a heck of a way to get our first fish here. I don't know what he is. Maybe a channel cat. Maybe a drum. He's big, whatever he is. We're just going to take our time with him. That's all you can do when you got an ultralight rod and 2-pound test. You just take your time, play the fish out. If he's got any size to him, we're going to have trouble landing him because I ain't got no net. Oh, I see him over there. I see part of him. I still don't know what he is. He looked brown, so he's probably maybe a channel cat. Either way, that's a heck of a way to start out our first fish here on the video, ain't it? No, it ain't. Oh my gosh, that's a buffalo. That is a buffalo, y'all. Boy, you don't catch these. You don't catch these on a Gulp very often. This is an unusual catch for this bait. And buffalo, he's got it in the mouth too, by gosh. He sure does. He's ate it. He ain't an accidental catch. Nice, man. The last carp trip I went on, I was hoping to get some carp and buffalo. I did a live stream. I didn't catch a nary one. I caught some channel cats. That's all I could get. I come out here today ultralight fishing. This was the absolute. If you gave me a list of species in this body of water, and I had to rank them on most likely to least likely being caught, this will be the least likely catch out here. And by gosh, it's the first fish we get. What a battle right here, man. Let's see. I'm gonna have to just get him over here beside me. We're gonna scoop him up with my hand and bring him in. This is where it gets tricky. We're liable to lose this guy. He's probably in that 8 to 10 pound range, I would say. Come here, buddy. We're just trying to tire him out. These buffalo, they've got a carp-like mouth. They're hard to get a hold of. Oh man, how am I going to get a hold of this thing, y'all? No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, there he goes again. I need a net. One of y'all teleport through the screen and bring me a net, would you? I need a net in a bad way. They just don't have a mouth that's lippable. Oh, he's going over there under that dock. Oh no, we're going to lose him. If he don't spool us, he's run over there under that dock. Oh, I feel my line rubbing on it. Boy, he got a second wind, didn't he? He was belly up right there. I thought he was done. I was just trying to lean over, but not so far that I was going to roll and scoop him up, and he wasn't having it, man. He got one look at y'all and said, "You ugly." He wasn't coming in here with you. Gosh, I feel my line rubbing. He's back there in them dock pilings, and there's no way we're getting him out of there, y'all. If anybody wants to bet me a nickel, I'll give you about 20 to 1 odds we don't get him out of there. I can't believe my line has held up this long. It's my fault for not having a net. We had our chance with him. I had played him out perfectly to get him tired down. I just didn't have a net to scoop him with. This just isn't the type of fish that you expect to get on this setup. He is somehow still on though. How is my line not broke? I'll tell you, you know, I try to retie as little as possible in these videos, because I know it's, you know, especially unedited video, y'all don't want to watch me retie jigs, but even by a miracle we do get this thing out, we're going to retie, because my line has got to be just super abraded right now. Oh my gosh, he is still on too. Somehow or another, y'all, he is still on. Oh. How is this line not broke? I ain't trying to sell you no Trout Magnet SOS line, but by gosh, this is pretty good stuff. I see him right there. He's wrapped around that dock post. He's wrapped around it. Oh, I can't get down there to him. He needs to swim the direction that he went around it, and I don't know if he's smart enough to do that. Oh, there it went. Oh, y'all, man. Oh, what a battle that was, man. We had us a buffalo on the ultralight. Dang, man. We had him too. We had him dead to rights. We had him hook, line, and sinker, as the old saying goes, and I couldn't get him scooped up before he got his second wind, and boy, once he got that, he was off to the races, man. What a battle. At least we got a look at him. I kind of thought it might have been channel cat there, but that right there was much better than the channel cat. I like me some buffalo. I'm terrible at trying to catch them. If you told me I had to go out and target buffalo today, I'd probably be skunked. Truth be told, like I was in that last carp live stream I tried to do. Couldn't get a carp or buffalo. Just some rinky-dink channel cats. Well, we got ourselves retied here. We'll stick us another gulp on, and we'll keep making our way down through here. Man, y'all. I just can't believe it, man. He was just, I mean, he made it right up to the side of the kayak and was acting like he was just tuckered out. He flipped upside down. I thought, this kayak here, I can't lean over very far in there. I'm gonna be swimming in the water with him. I just couldn't get to him in time before he bolted. All right, well, we back in the game here. Let's make some more casts. That was a weird situation. And when I first picked up on it there, I thought I was in a piece of brush. I thought I'd snagged. And then I wonder if I wasn't snagged and he come and ate it off the brush maybe and knocked it free. That could have happened. Because it didn't feel like a fish at first. We'll never know. Man, that was fun though, y'all. We need some more of that today. We definitely need more of that. I guess technically we're still skunk though. We're gonna have to remedy that. Something hit me just then. Let's see. Oh, we're 0 for 2 now, man. One of y'all out there that's fishing with me right now, you got bad Judy on you. You need to go wash off your bad luck. so we can land a fish here. Burn some sage or something, because it can't be me that's the problem here. It's got to be one of y'all. Surely it ain't me and my lousy fishing skills causing us not to be able to catch fish. Can't be my fault. I'm the star of this show. That's what I tell myself anyway. I tell you, that buffalo wasn't bad. I mean, he was probably, I would guesstimate 8 to 10 pound range. You get a fish that big, I don't care what species it is, you get one that big on the ultralight, you're in for a good time. You know, all you can do is just hang on. Hope that your line holds up, hope they don't run you into a dock or around your pedal drive on your kayak or some other kind of obstruction. That 2 pound line though, man, it went the distance on that dock. I mean, he run me to the back of the dock first, and then he came back out and ran around that post up front there. I could see him. I can't believe the line held up that long. I hope I don't have any more, you know, braided areas farther on up my line. I guess we'll find out if we hook another fish longer than 3 seconds here. We'll find out if we got any weak spots. Man, that was fun though, y'all. You need to experience. I tell people all the time, get you an ultralight rod and some jig heads and some sort of plastic. I like the Gulp. It don't matter what you use though. You can catch fish on any small plastic. But you need to experience that once in your life if you haven't. Just a big fish on an ultralight rod, and boy, it's a good time. You can have a lot of fun with small fish with appropriate size tackle. You can even reel you in some, what is that? Algae, I guess. You can reel in everything with these ultralights, can't you? Fish, leaves, algae. Undoubtedly, we're going to catch some sticks throughout the day too, probably. I'm just going to fish till close to dark. A little afternoon session today. I let it warm up this morning, done some stuff around the house, and now I'm ready to get after it. Been having a lot of projects to do around the house and stuff. I've been sharing some of those things with my channel members. I know most of the general public out there don't give a crap about what goes on in my personal life. Y'all tune in to see fishing videos, and so I don't waste your time with stuff like that. But my channel members, people that support me on a monthly basis, they're more inclined to be interested in the backstory kind of stuff, you know. So about once a month I put out a video for them, just to kind of give them updates of where I'm at and what I'm doing and what's going on in life. And so I posted a video there recently showing them some projects I've been doing out in the yard and some stuff I got going on. So been working more on that. We've had a really nice fall so far this year. It's been mostly warm. We had one little cold snap that lasted about a week, but otherwise it's been 60 to 70 degrees pretty much all of October. Now we're into, it's mid-November now when I'm filming this, and you know, it's 60 something degrees out here today. So it's just been really nice weather, and so I've been doing a lot of fishing, catching the heck out of some blues and some flatheads. And catfish bites been awesome, and knocking out projects. Oh boy, I had one hit me then. Missed another one. Why y'all keep missing fish for? You need to land you one time here. Y'all setting the hook on these fish and not landing them. It's making me look bad here. I'm looking like an amateur. I'm supposed to be looking like a professional on this YouTube crap. I blame y'all for it. It can't be me. But yeah, hopefully those of you that like these. Oh, I had a bluegill chasing it. Oh, he hit it then. I saw him come after it. He chased it all the way back up. I was about to lift it out of the water and I saw him. Come up here, bluegill. We finally got the skunk out, everybody. No, oh, well, he didn't want to be in here with y'all either. Old fish. Nice to finally land one though. Howdy. Hi. Well, I guess we're going to be moving along again. Let's go on up here this next dock. Gonna catch you a big one? Well, good luck, man.
Thank you. You caught anything?
No, I hooked a little buffalo and a bluegill. That's been it. We'll go up here and move along here. I'd kind of thought about fishing the main channel just so that we wouldn't have to run into anybody today. But I thought our better action would be back here in this creek, and since it's a weekday, I thought we might have a place to ourselves back here, but so far we have from the boats. Well, two bank fishermen now. I try to move along, you know, when you got people on the bank. I got access, you know, I can move. They can't, so I'll try to let them have it. I wish boaters would show me the same courtesy when they come along and I'm fishing, you know. Oftentimes these boats want to get right on top of you when they've got outboard and can go anywhere in a daggone lake. They get right on top of you, you know. So far, no boats. I saw one other vehicle at the launch site I used, and they were down there fishing close to the launch, so we should be good for now. Whether or not we get any more fish remains to be seen. We're struggling on that, at least landing them anyway. Boy, I got my line. What we got going on here now? We got, one of us has got Judy on us, folks. We got bad Judy. I got my line wrapped all around my reel. There we go. I've met a few Judys. They've all been older ladies and they've all been really nice. But when it comes to the other kind of Judy, the kind that gets on you and crazy stuff starts happening, you gotta watch out for that kind of Judy. One of us has got it on it right now. From losing that fish to malfunctions here with the line, we got to get together. We're just going to keep making our way down through here. We're just going to throw at all this stuff, y'all. Trees, docks. There's a kind of a rocky riprap quarry wall down through here. We're gonna try to maybe fish it too after we reel this one in. What we got here? Bluegill. Boy, he's way on too now, ain't he? Come here, bluegill. That's a pretty good one right there. Why don't you look at this one right here? He's got some winter colors going on here. He's kind of pale. Nice, man. I did bring my measuring board just in case we caught anything worth measuring. I don't know that this one is. He may not even touch 8 inches. He's going to try to touch me with them sharp fins is what he's going to try to do. No, just barely shy of 8 inches there. Still a nice one though. How about y'all? I'll take a bluegill like that anytime. Let me back up a little bit here. Let's see if we can throw over there. And boy, it's a wonder we even got that jig to him. I see all kinds of sticks right there. That tree comes out further than I thought. Well, something was hitting me right then. Yeah, he's got it. We finally got on a tree that's got some fish on it here, man. Something's going on behind me over here too, some kind of commotion. Say something for yourself, bluegill. Tell these people to hit the subscribe button, would you? They won't do it. Can't get these bluegill to do anything for you. They're them bluegill very self-centered. They won't do anything to help the common man. It's sad, really. It's just the culture of bluegill. Definitely some in the, oh, I had another one on. What the stuff I saw over there though under the surface, boy, if you don't catch a fish, you probably ain't getting your jig back if you let it sink down too far. I can't help myself though. I'm about to throw over there a little bit farther into it and just see what happens. I'm gonna swim it. I don't want to. We just retied a little while ago. I don't want to subject you to it again so quickly. I'm trying to look out for your needs here. There's only so many reties I can expect you to sit through. Oh, there's one. He's wound up too. Come over here, bluegill. Even though you got yellow gills, this fish has been improperly named. Give me a hook back, would you? He's wanting to keep it. There you go. Yeah, yellow looking thing. And the wind's blowing us pie this area now. That was another reason for making the run back to this creek, was the wind was just a little more than I would ideally like to deal with out in the main channel. I thought we could hide from it back here. And for the most part we are. It's not nearly as bad back here as it was as I was coming up the channel to get here. See if I can get turned back. Oh, something hit me then. I was about to get us turned back around. Something's hit me. Another bluegill. Well, they're all along this tree over here. Ain't that something, you know, we couldn't catch nothing back there at the very back of this creek. And we make our way out to this area here where I was seeing some bait flipping. I ain't seeing nothing now. But coming down through here, I was seeing some bait flipping, some shad and stuff in this area. And I guess that's where the fish are at here. If I can get us turned around. The wind ain't my friend. It don't want me turning this direction. That's the thing about fishing out of a kayak. When the wind blows, it always wants to turn sideways into the wind. Every time. It sure is fun catching fish in a kayak though. All these big cats I've been catching lately. So much fun, especially when I'm in this kayak, because this kayak here, it's not as wide as my other one, and it sets a little closer to the water, and so it's just a way more intense battle when I hook into a big fish on this thing. Oh, that ain't a fish, y'all. I've set the hook on a tree. I told you we was going to catch some sticks today. Let me get spun, see if I can get over here and work this thing free. I'd like to have this back. I didn't set it too terribly hard, so we'll see. I'm 60% confident we're getting this one back. I'm a bit of a pessimist in real life, so 60% positivity is pretty optimistic for me. I got it too, by gosh. I tell you, with a positive can-do attitude, you can accomplish anything, even getting your jigs back out of a tree. Oh, bluegill. We may get some crappie or some bass in this creek too. I mean, literally everything will be in here. I'm not going to be keeping anything today. I think I started talking about it. I either started talking about it or I started thinking about it. And then got interrupted, I guess. I was talking about how these videos are going to be out of order, because it's been a while since I posted one of these raw and uncut videos, and normally I post everything in sequential order. But I was just been on that good catfish bite, so I just been doing a lot of catfishing, and so I'll probably throw this video in between some catfish videos. But this is my last trip in Tennessee before I head to Florida. I'm taking this kayak down to the Florida Keys and going to go down there and hopefully hook into some monsters. I'm going to try to catch some sharks down there. I got into some last year when I went with Elias from the Elias V Fishing YouTube channel. Got a hammerhead and bull shark and a big nurse shark and a few others, and so going back again, going to take what I learned last year and try to keep the momentum going down there. There's so many fish down there on them bridges and stuff in the Keys. It's just an amazing fishery. So I'm fishing out here today, and then gonna get packed up and everything tomorrow. We got another fish right here, and probably take off driving tomorrow evening. Drive part of the way. I'm gonna split it up because it's about 14 hours to get down there. I'm gonna split it up over 2 days. Bluegill said he likes to split up his drives too. I don't know how far that bluegill drives in a typical day, but he probably puts some miles on, you know. But yeah, going to leave out tomorrow, and so by the time you're seeing this video, I'm probably already in Florida, truth be told. And then there'll be a couple other catfish videos after that, and then the Florida trip videos, assuming I get some. Boy, I hope I do. They'll be out after that for my regular viewers. I'm snagged again. You know, that felt like a fish at first. I don't know if it was a branch that was giving with me a little bit, or if I had a fish and he just ran me into a branch. But either way, I'm snagged now. Let's go over here and see if we can get it. Y'all, don't you dare break this jig off now. I mean it. Don't you do it. You need to get this thing out of this tree. Nobody wants to watch you retie another jig. No, you done it. You done broke it off. I told you not to do that. I swear y'all never listen to me. Let me retie it for you. Daggone it. I need to think of a story to tell you right quick while I retie this thing. Keep people engaged here. Keep you from fast forwarding. I don't know if I have any good stories. I ain't done much lately. I did make a very probably dumb purchase. I've been snake oiled again, y'all. I've mentioned this in other videos, but I think even other ultralight videos. But you know, I like Joe Rogan. I listen. I don't usually listen to full podcasts. I don't have time for that unless I'm on a road trip. I'll probably listen to some on my Florida road trip just because I gotta kill 14 hours in the car, you know. But normally I'll just catch the clips and stuff. And anyway, Joe Rogan had on Gary Brecka. And I had seen this guy's stuff before, and I'm very interested in it. And the Joe Rogan podcast, I listened to that, and by gosh, I ended up buying a damn DNA kit. And so I've always been against these DNA companies. And there's been a lot of DNA companies they'll run your DNA and they'll tell you your ancestral history and stuff, where's your people from and all that. And two things on that. One, I've been very hesitant to give up my DNA to be put into a computer database that literally every government agency out there will have access to. I mean, I don't want to sound like old tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, but once you've given up your DNA, you could be framed for any crime imaginable because they got you, right? They can just plant your DNA, any crime scene, and you're guilty. You didn't even have to be there. You didn't have to be within 10 hours of where that crime took place. Your DNA's there. You're guilty. You're not going to win that court case, right? So I've been very hesitant from that standpoint. Another thing I've been fearful of giving up DNA for is what if 15, 16, 17 years ago, maybe you had a rendezvous with some random woman. She gets knocked up. Now all of a sudden your DNA's out there. Here's a fish. This fish don't know who his daddy is either. But now your DNA's out there, and these ancestral DNA places are linking your family members on these databases, and little Johnny or little Susie realizes, well, I got a daddy after all. And now you're on the hook for 15 to 17 years of back child support pay for some kid you didn't even know you had, you know. And I ain't saying, look, I ain't trying to say like you shouldn't support your children and all. By all means you should. But it would suck to do a DNA test not even knowing that you had a kid out there, and all of a sudden get hit for a few $100,000 worth of back child support for this kid you didn't even know existed, you know. So I've been very fearful of these DNA tests, you know, because of all that. And so I've always been against it. But anyway, this Gary Brecka guy, he either knows his stuff or he's a damn good salesman. 50-50 either way. But I got sold. And so I'm taking this DNA test, and it looks for problems with certain genes that make it hard for your body to break down certain. What have I done with my line here? Our line's messed up again here. I'm focusing on telling you a story. We got line malfunctions again. I got to change before I go to Florida. That's another thing I got to do tomorrow. I need to re-spool this line. But anyway, you do your DNA test. If you got any of these gene mutations, they can recommend certain vitamins, supplements, dietary changes and stuff to help your body function better. And so I'm at that age where most of you all out there at my age and older can probably relate. We can't do the things that we could when we were younger men, or we can't do it as long. You know, my energy level just isn't what it used to be. And so anyway, I watched that damn Joe Rogan podcast, and $599 later I'm sending my DNA off to a database so unknown children can find me and all that. But I'm gonna know if I got these mutations in my genes and what vitamins I need to be on. So anyway, that was one big thing happening lately. But in my defense, at least I'm doing it for health reasons. These people, and my mom done this, who send off their DNA, and you know damn well it's the government. You know, they can call it 23andMe and Ancestry.com and all this crap. It's the government running these companies. You know it is. But there's a lot of people out there that want to know where their people are from. You know, and me, I just don't, for whatever reason, maybe I'm just a bad person. I just don't care. I don't care where my ancestors come from. I'm from Tennessee. My parents are from Tennessee. And my grandparents, when I knew them, were in Tennessee. Now, some of them come from other places, I know, but, you know, beyond that, I just, you know, here's the thing, and this is terrible to say this. And again, the people that didn't think much of me before are really going to think less of me now after all we're talking about here with the child support for children you didn't know you had and not caring about your ancestors. But let's be real. Every single one of us, me and all of you out there in internet land watching right now, we are all about 2 to 3 generations away from being completely forgotten. It's the damn truth. I mean, outside of like rock stars or actors, you know, famous movie actors, you know, those people will be remembered. The people who knew them, it's a pretty good fish here. No, it ain't either. I thought that bluegill was bigger than he was. You fought like a Dickens bluegill. But you know, if you're Elvis Presley or something, people are going to know you and your music forever. But the people who actually knew Elvis when he was alive, you know, give it another 50 years and all of those people will be dead. And so Elvis will only be known for his music. And, you know, and that's great. But what I'm saying is that an average person like myself, or many of you watching, who, you know, there's a little bass. You know, we're not a music star, or maybe you don't have enough money to to get your name on a library or a school or something. Like this bass right here, he's got a lot of money, and they're going to name a school after him. And people every day are going to walk into that school, and they're going to see that bass's name on the side of the building and have no clue who he is after he's dead and gone. But you know what I'm talking about, though. Like, you know, people, we just, over time, you just get forgotten. And so, you know, my ancestors and stuff, there's nothing left of them. Maybe a headstone somewhere. I don't have any family heirlooms aside from my grandparents. You know, once you go back beyond that, I'm gonna spin back around here a second. You know, we got a couple bites. This helicopter man flies over right mid-story. Ain't nobody gonna remember Helicopter Man either outside of this video. But you know, like my family, for instance, on my dad's side, I knew both of my grandparents, and they're, you know, both dead now, but I knew them as a kid. On my mom's side, I knew my grandparents and two great-grandmothers. One of them died when I remember her, but I was real little when she died. The other one, I can't remember how old I was when she died. I was probably 10 or 12 years old when she died. So I had, you know, I had a lot more memories of her. She babysat me a lot when I was a kid. That great-grandmother's the one that taught me how to cuss and how to be a wrestling fan. So I learned a lot from her and have memories of her. But go back to her parents, my great-great-grandmother and grandfather. There's no anything of them. You know, they're basically, once my parents die, there will be nobody left that has memories, nobody living anyway, that has memories of my great-great-grandparents. They'll be completely forgotten. And it's sad, and it's a little bit morbid to talk about, but it's the dang truth. So, you know, when it comes to these DNA tests and figuring out where your people come from and all that, you know, unless you've got something in your family as far as diseases and stuff that's you could be genetically predisposed to, I just don't see the appeal to learning stuff that I don't know. It's just not me. So anyway, I've never had a desire for the DNA test until I found out about Gary Brecka. And we'll see. We'll see what my DNA comes back showing, and if there's a vitamin or supplement out there that can change my life and improve my energy levels and my sleep and all that. We'll see. It'd be nice I'd like to improve my sleeping. I'd like to improve my energy levels. And I'd like to improve my memory. If I could do all that, at least short term. You know, it's funny. I'm sitting here talking about my great-grandmother used to keep me when I was little. Like I said, I learned cuss words from staying with her. I learned how to be a wrestling fan. I learned cuss words with her watching wrestling, because she would cuss out Ric Flair and Jim Cornette all the time on the TV set. But it's funny how I have such vivid memories of being a kid and stuff with her, but yet I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday or dinner last night. You know, if you ask me, Justin, what'd you have for dinner last night? I'd have to sit here and think about it. But yet I can tell you stuff from 35 years ago when I was a kid staying at my great-grandma's, like, you know, every day we had to watch soap opera, right? She watched Days of Our Lives at 1 o'clock every day, NBC. I assume that show's still on TV right now too, probably. But, you know, just watching that show as a kid with her, and I didn't even understand, I was too young, you know, to understand what was going on with all the love stories and all that crap. But to this day, I can tell you all about any question, and I don't know why any of you would want to know anything about Days of Our Lives soap opera from the 1980s, but I can tell you all about Bo and Hope and John and Marlena and Stefano DiMera, all because I watched it all summer long when I'd be staying there with my great-grandma. I can tell you all about Days of Our Lives soap opera from the late 80s. But I can't tell you what I had for dinner last night. So I'd like to be able to improve my memory a smidge. So anyway, we'll see if this DNA test changes my life in a positive way. But I guarantee you, governments, they got my DNA now, so if they want to frame me for some crime I didn't commit, you know, be like another 1980s reference. You remember the A-Team? They were sent to a military prison for crimes they didn't commit. Now, fortunately, the A-Team, Hannibal and Mr. T, B.A. Baracus and Face and Murdoch, they were able to quickly escape and into the Los Angeles underground and help people in need. If you have a problem, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team. Classic. I can remember that. Can't remember dinner last night. So anyway, yeah. That story lasted longer than the retie of my jig. Useless information none of y'all care about. I just, you know, it's a fear. I mean, I guarantee you these DNA tests, somebody's going to figure out that they're going to do their DNA and their family tree. I bet it's already happened, but somebody's going to figure out, if they ain't already, that their daddy that they think is their daddy ain't really their daddy. It's going to be like a future episode of Maury or something. My daddy ain't my daddy. And then they're going to go after the real daddy for a big check. It's going to happen. Too late now, though. Done committed to this test, and the $509, it was really ridiculously expensive. $599. You know, and Gary Brecka's on there talking about, well, it's a one-time test. You take it one time in your life. Well, if you fleece people for $599, they don't have to buy it multiple times. You get all your money up front. So we'll see. Like I said, he's either brilliant or it's a really good snake oil salesman. I'm 50-50. Could go either way. Unfortunately, at the time I made the purchase, I was about 60-40 believing him versus snake oil. So what's done is done now. I need to look up and see if Days of Our Lives is still on. I bet you they have some of them original characters. I bet you John and Marlena, if they're still alive, I bet they're on there. Or Bo and Hope. I do remember a while back Stefano DiMera had died. He was the bad guy on there when I was a kid. And his son was the Count, Tony DiMera. I always thought he was cool. I guess he was a bad guy as a kid, but on the show, here's the fish. But I thought he was cool because he was known as the Count. Like, how do you, if you're not a Dracula, if you're not a vampire, how do you get known as being the Count? Like, I'd like to have that title. I'd like to be the Count. The Count, Justin. That bluegill says he can count on me leaving. Or count on himself leaving. I can't get my words out. I was trying to say that bluegill was going to tell me that I could count on him leaving, but I totally fumbled my words and botched it. I'm all discombobulated with these people out here. You know I don't like talking around people. You know, that kid down there, I don't know if he knows who his daddy is, but if he gets on Ancestry.com, wouldn't that be something? I'll be out here fishing, that kid comes down there at the dock, asks me if I'm his daddy or something, you know? Oh, boy, I got hit right then. Had me another one and botched it. I have caught at times. It's usually a late winter, early spring bite, but I've filmed videos here at this dock before and caught a bunch of crappie with a Gulp. Ain't been no crappie caught yet. But I don't think a time of year's ideal. It's usually late winter, early spring when they really kind of stack up in here, and I would guess right now I'm sure there's a bunch of crappie in this creek, but as far as them being just stacked up under a dock, I don't know that the time is right for it. If we had the other kayak and had the live scope, obviously we could take a look, but don't have that today. It's something rewarding. I've mentioned it before in other videos about fishing with no electronics and stuff, just kind of old school. I've done several catfishing trips this fall in this kayak with just 2 rods and no graph or nothing. Had a dang good time. I'll be taking this kayak with me down to Florida and getting towed around with some sharks in this thing. I think what I'm gonna do is go down. I'm staying at a place. I rented a person's timeshare is what I've done for a week down there in the Keys, and I found a person online that wasn't going to use their week, and so I got a dang good deal on it. But I can't check in until Saturday afternoon, so I'm filming this video on a Wednesday, and my plan is to leave out tomorrow night, Thursday evening. And so if I get down there, if the weather's looking good Friday afternoon or Saturday morning, I think I'm gonna go try to catch me some peacock bass. If the weather's looking good. Wild card on the weather, you know. Figure I'll get an updated weather report tomorrow night. Either way, whether I get to fish for peacocks, bass or not, I'm gonna break that drive up over 2 days. All you truck drivers out there, I get a bunch of them watching my videos. A lot of you have commented on these Ultralight unedited videos too. People be in their trucks driving, just put these videos on. It's almost like I guess it's like a bad podcast to them or something. I don't know how they can stay awake driving, listening to me, but I don't know how y'all truck drivers drive these long hours, long distances every day. I just ain't got it in me. I can drive about 6 hours, and then I'm over it. I need to get out and stretch my legs and get some time outside the car, more than just a stop at the gas station. You know, I need some 30 minutes, an hour at least outside the car. Oh boy, I pulled it out of that one's mouth. Boy, I did it again. That's 2 fish now. They're over there on that. I see part of whatever that is, a little tree or something, right there coming out in the water, and that was 2 fish. And I got a third one after it. Man, it must be a small bluegill or something. That's 3 in a row that's nipped it. Once is an accident, twice is a pattern, 3 times is just insulting my integrity right here. We're gonna move along from that tree. When I get back from Florida, I got some other stuff to try out this winter. That was a tree right there I almost snagged. I got some experimenting to do, y'all. I got an idea for a dragging artificial bait for catfish dragging rig I'm going to play with. May or may not work out. Going to try it. Going to do some more live scoping for catfish with artificials, assuming I can. I've tried that periodically this year through the spring and summer months and early fall, but just haven't had success. I was tearing them up last winter and getting a bunch of bites with artificials. Had a bite right then too. But once the shad, big schools of shad there in the winter kind of dissipated, I just wasn't seeing catfish up in the water column anymore. So just kind of turned into something I thought I was going to be able to replicate all year. Kind of, I think, is just maybe going to be a wintertime type thing for me. But anyway, we're going to get after them. If it is a wintertime thing, well, wintertime's coming, so we're going to do some of that. But this time of year, I've mentioned this in live streams and other ultralight videos and stuff. It's just this time of year, once you get past Labor Day, views on especially kayak fishing channels, which I have, they just kind of drop off a cliff. Because, most people, let's be real, most people aren't interested in fishing in a kayak in the middle of winter. It's just not there's some people out there that do. Maybe many of y'all out there watching do, and I certainly do. But a casual YouTube viewer isn't searching for kayak fishing content in the middle of winter. So naturally, views go way down in the colder months. So, my first few years on YouTube, I tried to fight the system, man. I was trying to, try things and do different things to try to keep my views up. And, over time, I've learned it's a losing battle. Just accept it. So now I take the slow season for YouTube views and use it as an opportunity to try out things, whether it be new camera gear, which I had done recently, or just new techniques or things that I'm wanting to try. It's a great time to do that, because with views being much lower in the winter months, if I go out and I'm experimenting with a new bait or a new rig and it just completely flops and I don't catch any fish and I don't get any content that day, well, it's not the end of the world. Whereas spring, summer, when views are going well, if I go out and don't get content on a day, it can be really frustrating, So I've just kind of started looking at it from a different perspective. And so I got some things I'm wanting to play around with and try, and this fish right here is wanting to try to pull the rod out of my hand. Look at him go. What is that? That's a big bluegill. Boy, he was wound up, wasn't he? You're an ornery old thing. I like it. Let's get this. Man, that's a big one right here. Look at that, y'all. Man, is that awesome or what? Give me that jig back. We'll throw you on the measuring board. How's that sound? He says that is an awful idea, but he doesn't have a choice in the matter, so he's just gonna go with it. Oh, hey. No. Lord. Get a hold of your fish here, y'all. One of you get him under control. Okay. Touch that 8-inch line. Well, he does. He'll barely graze it. Nice bluegill right there. That's a nice one, man. Out here, you get an 8-inch bluegill out here on public water. That's a good fish. If you fish in a pond somewhere, that ain't all that exciting. You know, if they've got much larger trophy-sized bluegill, or if they got them old copper-nosed bluegill, but a northern strain bluegill in public water here, that's a good catch. That is another thing I'm hoping to catch down in Florida if I get the opportunity to fish either Friday afternoon or Saturday morning. Is down there in Florida, they've got them copper-nosed bluegill, which is a larger strain of bluegill. I mean, they get dinner plate size. Now, I caught some on Lake Ida last year and had a real good time with them, and I'd like to try to get a hold of them again. I know that sounds crazy to some people, and you're going to go all the way to Florida and you're going to be excited about catching a bluegill, but I really am. I like them. Bluegill is one of my, I know they're a kid's fish, quote unquote. You know, everybody starts, most children's first catch is a bluegill. And then people, you know, they get to where they're too good to catch a bluegill. You know, they outgrow it. But I never have, and I like catching them. They're one of my favorite fish to catch. When you got an ultralight set up, a 8-inch bluegill like we just got, I mean, you saw how he's pulling. That's a dang good time. That bluegill pulls almost as hard as this log I'm stuck in right now. Come on, give it back to me. Log, please. Please give it back to me. I said please. This log don't give a crap, man. There it came. I had to say please about 2 times, 3 times, but it gave it up. Let's throw over here. I really got to change this line. I don't remember when I changed this line, but it's clearly past time. And that buffalo running us like he did, stretching that line out, probably didn't help things either. But this fish right here don't care about our line. Come up here, fish. Another good bluegill right here. I ain't gonna put you on the board though. You ain't gonna measure up to your friend. This is probably in that 6 to 7 inch range, probably. Yeah, it took a little while out here. You know, the back of the creek wasn't really producing, although we had to skip through part of it with the bank fishermen and stuff, but this little stretch through here is produced. I suspect we'll get on some more as we make our way up through here. Oh, bluegill, it makes me happy. After that Dill Hollow trip, man, it kind of broke my confidence a little bit. I always tell people, you know, you go out and you fish an ultralight, it's rare to get skunked. And I didn't get skunked on Dill Hollow. I caught some fish. But when the place has a reputation for large smallmouth, and I'm catching very few 6-inchers, it's a blow to the confidence. But at least I can say I went, even though y'all didn't see it. I guess if you don't see it, it didn't really happen. But I can say I went. I was about to say I was catching another fish right there, but he let it go. That was only the second time I ever been to Dill Hollow. I went out there a few years ago fished a bass tournament with my friend Pro Moderator, as y'all know him, on the live streams. And that tournament, I did pretty good. I didn't cash in it, but I think I finished like 1 or 2 spots out of the money. I think I finished like 9th or 10th place, something like that. And I caught some good fish. Just come up a little short in the tournament, but boy, I didn't have anything like that going on when I went out there this time. So that's fishing, though. You know, it's just, that's how it goes. Even with catfish, I can be on a bite and things be going good for a few days, and then it's like a light switch. Just you go out there and the bite just changed. Fish moved or whatever. Either way, what was working before just ain't anymore. But when you're throwing stuff like a small bait fish, you know, like this Gulp here, it represents a small fish. Could be anything. Out here, the primary forage species is shad, so this is representing like a small threadfin shad. It could represent an actual minnow if you're in a place that has minnows. But just a small fry of a fish, the bottom of the food chain, is what this represents. And if you throw this long enough on any body of water, you are going to get bit. You may not get a lot of fish. You may not get as many as you want, or the size that you want, or species that you want on a particular day. But you will catch some fish doing this. Even a buffalo like we got earlier. May not land him, by gosh, we hooked him in the mouth. That dock up there says smile, you on camera. Maybe we should, y'all holler up there at that camera and tell them to smile, because they're on our camera. Tell them we out here filming too. Probably need a camera these days if you got a dock with stuff laying out, because people just steal you blind. I've had all kinds of issues with people stealing content and stuff. They'll steal YouTube videos and post them. Sometimes they try to post it to their YouTube accounts, but YouTube's pretty good about catching that stuff and removing it. But they'll take your content from YouTube and they'll stick it on TikTok or the Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and post it like it's their own. And that's a huge issue that's rampant. Like, you get these people in internet cafes overseas, and they just rip off YouTube videos all day long. Not just me, I mean, it's everybody on YouTube. Anybody with a following on YouTube is having their stuff stolen. And I imagine as time goes on, with AI getting better to the point that you can make videos of people without the people and their voices actually being legit, you know. I think it's probably going to get worse. It's got worse for this fish right here that I'm reeling in. We're going to make this fish famous. This fish is going to be famous numerous times over, because I'm going to post him to YouTube, and then everybody that steals from me is going to post him to YouTube. What do you think about it, fish? You was hooked up under the lip. He didn't even have it in the mouth. He had it up under the chin. Silly fish. It's clouding up like it might rain, y'all. I didn't think it was supposed to today, but we need it. We went from being super wet spring and summer to not hardly getting any rain at all since about August or September. Mother Nature can't figure out what she wants this year. I just hope we have a winter that's tolerable. I don't like cold weather. I like to see it snow about one time. It needs to snow for about a day and then warm right back up and melt off. That's what I like when it snows. What I don't want is for it to be frigid cold for a sustained amount of time. I mean, we could use a shad kill, and we get those here when we get really cold temperatures for a sustained period of time, but usually every few years it'll happen. But boy, when it does, it's just miserable conditions. I don't know how people up north do it. I guess they just acclimated to it from growing up in it, but if I lived up there, one of my channel members, Callie's up there in North Dakota, and I mean, it's like negative 30 degrees sometimes up there. Wind chill even colder than that. I mean, you couldn't do nothing but stay inside all winter. I just couldn't function. You'd run out. I'd be watching 1980s reruns of Days of Our Lives. I'd be bored out of my mind if I was in the house all the dang time. I ain't been watching nothing lately but football. That's a nice thing about the fall as far as the TV schedule goes, is between Monday night, Thursday night, Saturday, and Sunday, you got games on most of the week. I keep pretty busy, just I can't. The other nights, usually got other stuff to do anyway. I am watching Survivor, though. I always watch it every season. I've watched it since the beginning. I will say this is probably, for any of you Survivor fans out there, if there are any, this is definitely the worst season of Survivor that they've ever put on TV. This new generation of people, they're unrelatable. And I ain't talking bad about nobody. And I know the older I get, I'm starting to sound like old man yelling at the clouds. But these people today, I mean, like for instance, on Survivor this time, 2 people quit the game. And another person that got voted out at one point was wanting to quit. And it's like, this is you get on the TV show Survivor, you're competing for $1 million. The show ain't as hard as first off, it ain't as hard as it used to be. Used to, I think they were out there for like 40 days. Now, it's 28 days. It's still a long time to be wet and starving, but still. Half the time is what it was before, almost. And you go out there and you play Survivor. I mean, you have to know going into that game, you are going to be wet. You are going to be eaten up by bugs. You are going to be literally starving. You're going to be dehydrated. Like, that going out there. Just accept it and roll with it. But these people are just a bunch of whiny ass people on there. They're 3 days in and wanting to quit. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You took somebody's spot, I don't know how many people apply to be on Survivor, but I'm sure it's tens of thousands. And they're taking 20 per season, 2 seasons a year. So, I mean, thousands of people would have loved to have had that opportunity. And you get people on there that just quit. Bunch of candy asses. It ruins the show, and on top of that, the people that's on there this year, like, there's nobody. I have nobody to pull for. Like, normally every season there's, you know, you get the weirdos, of course. They want those people on there that are a little different because it makes them stand out. You know, they got to do that for ratings and stuff. I get it, but usually there's one or two players on there that's relatable. Somebody they're like, maybe you can kind of see a little bit of yourself in, or, you know, they've got some kind of endearing quality that you're just rooting for them. There's nobody this season. Like, if there was anything else on, I probably wouldn't even watch. But it comes on Wednesday nights. There ain't no ball game on Wednesdays. So I watch, but I think when I send in my Survivor tape, my audition tape for next season, my selling point will be I won't quit. That's what I'm going to tell Jeff Probst. If you put me on that island, I'm not going to get along with anybody, but I won't quit. So we'll see if that gets me on Survivor next time. I don't think it will. I don't fit the prototype of the people that they're putting on there right now. Let's put our Gulp on here. A little different. Yeah, I think society has just changed, and I guess I'm too old for society these days. That's the best I can figure. That's why I try to keep myself. I'll talk to you all on this camera. I can talk to you in this kind of video. Lord, we got somebody coming through the woods up here now. We may be moving along again. Just get away from me. I was just about to talk about people wearing me out. I can't figure out what direction they're going. I guess they're going down there to that dock that we just passed. We'll keep moving along here. I ain't trying to talk to nobody today. I was trying to tell a story about how I don't want to talk to nobody. So anyway, I can talk to you all here on this video. Talk to the camera. And it's fine. I'm talking to you, but you're not really here. In person, anyway. So for whatever reason, it don't bother me. Same thing with the live streams. I can get on a live stream, be interacting with people real time who's leaving comments in the chat box. Boy, that thing is obnoxious over here behind us. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they need to go on. But I can talk to people on a live stream. It doesn't bother me one bit. But if I am having to have forced conversation with someone in person, it just physically exhausts me. Like last night, I went and got a haircut, you know, get a little trim going on before I go on this trip. And the hairdresser girl was super chatty last night. I hadn't ever had her cut my hair before. I just go to them little walk-in places, you know. My hairdo's easy. I ain't got enough hair to be difficult. I can't see the back of my head to do it myself, or I'd save myself $20 every 2 or 3 weeks. But anyway, this girl cut my hair, super chatty, man. I mean, we had way too many little mini conversations during my haircut. Which again, I don't have much hair. It doesn't take very long to give me a trim. And I was just like, I walked out of there and I got in my car and I was just like, whew, you know, just relieved to be out of there. And it wasn't nothing. I mean, I don't want to sit here and talk bad about her. She was a nice enough lady, good person. You know, I could tell she was a talker. And I'm not. I mean, I am on these videos and stuff. I'm talking to you right now. But what I can't do, what drives me crazy, is to be be in a forced conversation that I don't want to have with a stranger. You know, if it's a stranger and they have something interesting to say, something I care about learning about, then I'm all for it. I'm engaged. But when you're, you know, when I don't know you, when you're cutting my hair and you're telling me about, you know, how you're moving into a place with your sister and this, that, and the other, and the cost of your rent versus the new, I don't care. You know, I just don't care. It's just, when I'm in that situation, I'm nice. I listen. I ask questions and smile and shake my head and stuff. I don't want to be rude. But it just exhausts me. And since I've been doing this YouTube gig full time, I think before, when I was, you know, working the real job and stuff, and being around people all the time, I was conditioned to it. I was more tolerant of it because I was in that situation regularly. It still exhausted me, but, you know, I was used to it. Now that I'm not really having to be around people all that much, when I am in those situations, it takes more out of me than usual. And so after last night, getting my pre-trip trim, I'm peopled out. So these fellas back here on the bank, you know, I didn't talk to that one that first pulled up. I was trying to get us out of earshot there before he got down there on the bank, so we didn't have to talk to him. The kid, you know, I had a, you know, brief conversation with him just to be polite, but I come out here today hoping to not see anybody. I just want to talk to y'all through the camera microphone. And that's weird how that is, because like I can have meaningless conversation, you know, talking about damn Ancestry.com and Days of Our Lives from the 1980s, which, you know, most of you all out there don't give two diddly poos about, and why would you? And it don't bother me, but if we were having the same conversation in person with a stranger right now, it would just, I don't know. I can't even explain it. It's just one of them things. That's how I am. I'm weird like that. Oh, something hit me just then as I'm reeling in. This fish weird like that too, I reckon. I was done with it. I was reeling in to make another cast, and he said, "Not so fast, Justin. Not so fast. I want me a bite of that old Gulp minnow." He didn't just want a bite, he wanted the whole thing. We're gonna have to dig for this a little bit there, fish. You threw water on my face too, doggone you. Hold on, y'all. I'm going in after this jig here. There we go, we got it. You lucky fish, I got that jig out. I was gonna be mad at you. Oh, he got blood on my hand. That fish right there was maybe hooked a little too deep, y'all. I feel bad about that now. I'm gonna wipe the water off my face. Did he get y'all wet? No, y'all are good on the lens there. He just flung water on my face. Yeah, at a normal situation, I hook one that deep, I just throw it in the cooler. But today, I'm not keeping nothing, so we just catch and release today. If that bluegill don't make it, he'll just have to be catfish bait without a hook in him. There'll be a catfish come along and get him, or a bass. Maybe a muskie too, you never can tell. I think it was either the last unedited ultralight trip video or the one before. I was on the Emery River, and I had a muskie come up after a bluegill that I was reeling in. That was a pretty cool experience. It happens pretty regularly to get a bass come up and try to eat your bluegill and stuff. But as far as muskie goes, that was a first for me. I'm curious to see, I mentioned there these experimental dragging rigs that I'm going to be playing with for the catfish. I'm curious to see if I catch some bycatches with them. It's going to be very interesting if I start pulling up some bass while I'm catfishing. I'm wanting to experiment with these dragging rigs, because here's the reason why. When I have been doing the live scope technique, where I'm moving along, I'm looking for catfish that are up in the water column that I can throw a jig or swim bait down to. When I'm doing that, I've been throwing a rod or two off the back of the kayak and just dragging baits along the bottom as I move along, looking for fish on the live scope. Well, here's what's been happening, and this is the problem I'm trying to solve. So when you're moving along, your attention is focused on that live scope screen. You got to be watching that thing, especially as you're moving the transducer, because the beam is so narrow. If you're not paying attention, you can scan right by a fish and never know it. And so I'm dragging along with pieces of cut bait, watching that screen, and I'm getting eat up with small fish just chewing up my cut bait. And I don't even notice. I don't even know these baits are getting hit. And then, an hour or so goes by, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll switch out my baits, and you reel them in, and you've got a skipjack head, and it's just gill plates on there because the channel cats they've just stripped it clean. Or you're pulling along with a bare hook because you didn't know that your bait had been stripped off. So what I'm wanting to do, well, my line is giving us all kinds of problems. What I'm wanting to do is replace the cut bait with an artificial bait, because I catch all these fish. I mean, I don't know how many fish I've caught on the fly now that I put on my suspend fishing rigs. I mean, it's a lot. It happens frequently. And I've caught a bunch of fish with jigs and swim baits while I'm using the live scope and stuff. So I know they will eat an artificial if you can get it in their face. So I want to try a dragging rig with artificial only and see if I can target catfish while I am trying to live scope. And that, if that works out, well, it would be amazing if it works out. But if it does, that would allow me to really focus on that live scope screen without having to worry about my baits being stripped off the hook as I drag along. So that's kind of the motivation for wanting to do it. But I don't know what it is about them flies, but boy, they catch fish. Some people don't believe it. I've had some comments. One fella commented the other day that said he wasn't a believer in the flies. I'm like, well, yeah, that's your problem, not mine. Ain't my job to make anybody a believer. I don't care. I'm going to switch over here to this other side. We're getting up here by these rocks over here now. We'll get over here and work these. But it's like, I don't care. I can tell you these Gulp minnows catch fish here, and I can show you on video they catch fish. If you choose not to believe that, that's on you. It ain't going to affect me one iota. It don't matter to me. I'm going to have my fun. I'm going to catch my fish and go about my business, I ain't here to sell you nothing. So, some people just ain't going to believe I'm reeling in all kinds of fish on them flies. And they don't believe it. I guess they think I'm either doing some camera trick, or I think the last fellow that commented, I think he was thinking that they're just accidental or something, because I've got my suspend rigs, I've got the cut bait and then the fly under it. And, you know, I don't know why it is that the flies get eaten. I don't know how they see them down there, especially at the deeper depths, but I've caught too many in the mouth with the fly to think it's a coincidence. I'm a huge believer. I got a ton of confidence in them. And I know that the fish will eat the artificial, because how many have I caught using just a jig only, no cut bait, anything, with the live scope, just dropping it right in their face, you know? So, I mean, I've got a ton of confidence in it. But it's like, I don't know, as far as being, if people ain't going to believe in something, they ain't going to believe in it. There ain't nothing I'm going to be able to do to convince them. I mean, I literally, last winter, I put out a video. It was an unedited video of me. I think I did it for like an hour or two, where I had a camera on my chest and a camera on my live scope screen, left them both rolling, and went fishing, and was reeling in catfish with the artificial. And I was like, you know, that's unedited, you know. The fish I'm catching you're seeing it. Like, if you choose not to believe that those catfish are going to eat an artificial on an unedited video, like, there's nothing more I can do to convince somebody. Like, it's just, I'm not going to waste my time writing out an essay in the comment box. If you don't believe it when you see it with your own eyes, there's nothing I'm going to be able to comment in a comment box to convince you otherwise. You know, it just ain't worth my time. So, y'all believe what you want to believe. It don't matter to me. I'd like for you to have good trips and catch fish and stuff. It's, you know, it keeps, if a person goes out fishing and they don't do any good, and they're consistently not doing any good, well, they're likely to give up on the sport or give up on the hobby, you know. That's not good for business. I need people going out and catching fish and having a good time. That way you stay interested in fishing and keep consuming fishing content, and hopefully keep watching me. So I hope everybody that's watching this video and my others, I hope you're going out and having success. But if you don't, I'm not losing any sleep. I'm losing sleep, but that's because something with my body. It ain't because I'm, you know, losing sleep over people think I'm lying about a fly or something, you know. I don't sleep as good as I used to, though. You know, when I was a kid, I could sleep on command for 12 hours or more, you know. That's how kids are. Boy, this fish is swimming with it right here now. But nowadays, he spit it. Nowadays, I just don't sleep that long. I feel like I need to sleep that long, but I don't. I may have the sleep apnea or something. I may need to get that checked next. If the DNA test, you know, if I don't have some 17-year-old kid out there for some, you know, quick girlfriend of the past, if I don't lose all my money from that, I may could get me a sleep apnea test. May need me a CPAP or something. It's probably that dang dog that keeps me up. Daphne the dog, she sleeps in bed with me. She's one of them dogs, like, there's no, if you move during the night, she moves. Like, she basically spoons me. She sleeps right behind my knees. And if I move in the night, she moves, and usually, most nights, when I wake up, I'm either on the very edge of the bed where she's inched me all the way over, or I'm laying sideways in the bed. I'm assuming it's probably her that wakes me up all the time. She's, I guess because she's the devil, she's very hot. So when she's on you for a while, it's just, you need a break from it, you know. You need to throw the covers off, cool off a second. She's staying with the grandparents there while I'm going to Florida, so it'll be a nice break for me to get away from her. Hopefully she will be good at their house. Very hit or miss whether or not she is. And her, right after I got her, she actually got banned from my parents' house twice, but they ended up caving and letting her come back. And she's, for the most part, she's not as destructive as she used to be, although we've had some, I was telling some stories there on the live stream, stuff she's done recently. Every time I think we're past the puppy stage with her, it flares back up. Hopefully she'll grow out of it eventually. My neighbor up the street there, when she gets out of my fence, she goes to his house. He keeps dogs. He does some dog boarding and stuff, and so there's always some other animal up there for her to play with. And she loves it up there. And he was trying to tell me there recently when she got out and went up there that, oh, you know, Justin, there's going to come a day when she's older and stuff, and you're looking back and you're like, boy, I wish if I could go back in time and have her a puppy again. You're going to be wishing you could. And I'll be like, the hell I am. I ain't going to miss this puppy stage at all. There's been nothing good about it. I do enjoy riding the electric bikes with her. I do. That is fun. I will admit that's fun. But we have to do that every day, and sometimes multiple times a day. But just because she has so much energy, like she just has to be. I have to run her. So when she gets a little older and slows down a little bit, I'm not gonna complain about her slowing down at all. She's ruined it for any other young dogs, though. There won't be any other puppies for me ever. If I ever get another dog after her, it'll be an older dog from the pound. I'll get me one that's 2, 3, 5 years old or something, you know, to something that's just outgrown this stage. I did almost get me a dang cat the other day, though. My cat, I had a cat. She died back in the summer. She was 16. And having a cat, you're either a cat person or you're not. I like cats, but I don't necessarily like having a cat. For instance, I miss her. I miss my cat. But I don't miss having a cat. You know, the litter box, the hair everywhere. Most cats puke all the time. She did, the one I had, puke constantly. Every day you're cleaning up puke. I don't miss any of that. But I am a sucker for a either sweet or a sick animal. I'm a sucker for it every time. The Sally Struthers commercial with, or the Sarah McLachlan there, when the little sick puppies and sick kittens comes on the TV, I'm just like, here's a check, fill in the amount, take my checkbook. I'm a sucker for it. And so I've been out there in the front of my property. I showed this there on my channel members video, but at my house I got right at 4 acres of land, and 3 of it is fenced in, and the other part is wooded. And so I've been outside my fence. I've been working in the woods a little bit, trying to create me a buffer zone, so as the kudzu from my neighbors that I hate, as it spreads, I've got kind of a zone off my fence that I can keep sprayed and try to keep it at bay best I can. So I've been out there working in that. Well, my other neighbor has cats everywhere. She feeds them, and so they stay down there at her house. They come up to my house sometimes, but Daphne runs them off. So I don't bother putting out any food. I would put out food for them, but Daphne would just eat it. So anyway, I'm down there working in the woods, and of course Daphne's still in the fence. If I let her out, she'd be out there in the highway. She'd get run over. So I've got her in the fence. I'm out beyond the fence in the woods, and my neighbor that feeds the cats, they're everywhere. You know, most of them you can't get. There's a couple of them they'll let me get close, but they won't let me pet them. But one of them, just as sweet as it could be. I mean, it was following me around. I'm out there trying to chainsaw some trees, and this cat's rubbing up on my leg and stuff, and just sweet as it can be. Super friendly. You know, one of them talkative cats, like it's meowing and stuff, and very playful. And I'm like, you know, I could take this cat in. I could give it a better life. But I talked myself out of it. I'm like, you know, the neighbor girl, she's feeding it. It's nice not having to clean up cat puke every day. I don't have to clean a litter box. So I may end up with another cat at some point. But I'm fighting the urge. I did see, this was genius. I don't know, I'd give them credit if I knew who done it. I don't even remember where I saw it at now. I don't know if it was it was one of the social media sites. But this person had come up with a genius idea for a cat litter box. So they had taken a large Rubbermaid tote and cut out a part of the wall of it. And the litter box set inside the Rubbermaid tote. So the cat would go in the Rubbermaid tote this way and turn and go in the litter box. And then it had the lid on top of the Rubbermaid tote. So it kind of kept the litter in the box. You didn't. One of the problems, and those of you out there who have cats know this, you got a litter box, there's dust everywhere. That litter dust just gets on everything. And I think if you had a box like that, had your litter box inside the Rubbermaid tote, it would really keep that dust down. I thought that was a pretty genius idea. I'd totally shout them out and give them credit, but I don't remember who had the post. Here's a fish finally. Truth be told, it probably wasn't even the original person that created that idea. It's probably somebody that stole from them, like they steal my videos. What is this right here? This is a different type of fish. I believe this is this a red-breasted sunfish here? It's beautiful. Look at this. Look at the colors on this thing. Look at the orange on that tail and bluish purple there. Got them. It looks like an aquarium fish. You're lucky I ain't keeping bait today. That fish right there would have made a dang good thumbnail for me feeding it to a catfish. I'd have got a few extra clicks on that video. That fish didn't even thank me before he left. Rude. Yeah, I was out there just chainsawing away, and that one cat, the others won't let me touch him. But he was just rubbing up all over my leg while I'm chainsawing. Wasn't scared of me in the least. Even the last time I used the leaf blower out there, I went ahead and leaf blowed her driveway. Y'all hear me talk bad about my neighbors all the time, but here I did a good deed for this neighbor. Because she's out there, she's got a steep hill. My driveway, I've got two driveways. One of them comes in the back of my property. One of them comes into the front. And the front driveway I share with her. That was the original driveway to my house. Now, I've since bought the land behind me there that connects, so there's a driveway there, and so I use it just because it's easier to get in and out of. But the other driveway that I share with that girl that lives there It's real steep going down to the highway. And you get them leaves on there, on that concrete, it's just real slick. And so she's out there all the time with a broom trying to sweep them leaves off there. And I'm like, I got this leaf blower. It'll take you an hour to do what I can do in 5 minutes. So I went down there blowing them leaves, and that leaf blower, it's loud. But that cat, there it is. It sees me, here it comes. I tell you what though, Daphne, if she sees a cat in the yard, or a squirrel, or a deer, anything, any kind of animal in the yard, but she's after it, full speed. She did good with my cat that I had there, that died last summer. Daphne, I'd gotten Daphne the summer before, so they were sharing a house basically for about a year. And Daphne did good with her, and Daphne does good with my parents' cats. I mean, she gets after them and stuff, wants to play with them, but that's all it is. Daphne just wants to play with them. She doesn't try to attack them or anything. Now, if she got hold of a squirrel, I don't know how that would go. She had a squirrel several months ago. She got it twice, but the thing got away. With the squirrel being so small and probably violent, I don't know how that would turn out if Daphne could have kept hold of it. Same thing with the deer too. When she got after a deer recently that was inside my fence, and she ran it this way, and I lost sight of it down the hill, and next thing I know, here comes the deer back the other way. Daphne hot on its tail. I don't know what she would have done with it if she had got a hold of that deer, but she was going after it full speed. And y'all have seen Daphne race some electric bikes. I mean, she's fast. Deer are fast too, but Daphne can hold her own in any race with them animals. I keep hoping Daphne's going to get some more electric bikes for us to sell. I had a company reach out a few days ago wanting to send a bike in exchange for a video, and I said, my normal spiel, I've got a thing on my phone. I've learned, we've done so many of these damn electric bikes at this point, I know what they're going to ask me in advance of them asking me. So I created a letter basically that I can copy and paste that says what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do, and answers all the questions before they can ask me. It saves time. And so I'd sent that. They responded back that they were going to send it, and then they still haven't sent it. So who knows? We may end up getting another bike. I hope we do. But Daphne needs to get after it. She needs to be getting out there and knocking on doors or something to get us some more bikes. It's a dang good side hustle. With Christmas coming, you'd think Daphne would be wanting to make her some extra money to ensure that she gets a Christmas present. Because all Santa Claus is going to bring her is a lump of coal for how she's treated me this year. Her only hope is to sweet talk me into buying her something with her bicycle money. Now I get back from Florida, I got to figure out time to take her go see Santa Claus. Well, even though he's going to bring her a lump of coal, we'll at least go get a picture with him at the mall. I know who I ain't getting a picture with at the mall is any of these fish. This rocky area here just ain't panned out for us. I thought for sure we'd be getting some fish over here. It ain't been very good. Still can't believe we hooked that buffalo though. Man, that was an awesome fight. I had him. My hands was on him. But when he got his second wind, he was gone right toward that dock. You get a fish that big running that hard, you ain't slowing them down. You can't tighten down on them. I think that fish, though, is the problem with our line. I think he pulled so much drag and stretched it out. It's just, we're having a hard time with it here. I'll switch that stuff out, though, before the trip, just in case I get to use this down there. I'll probably still use it anyway, even if I don't get to go after peacocks and the copper-nosed bluegill. Just for, I got to get something for shark baits, you know. I gotta be able to bait a hook with something down there. I imagine I throw this Gulp along them bridge pilings, we'll get something willing to play. Last year we were throwing shrimp, or what was it? Was it shrimp? No, it wasn't shrimp. Squid. That's what it was. It was squid. Down there in all them, we got ours at the grocery store, but all them bait stores and stuff have it. It's a little block, and it's like $5, and it's frozen squid, and you tear it up in pieces and throw it out on the hook, and them they're pinfish, what they're called, but they're basically the bluegill of the ocean. They're a small bluegill-like fish everything eats. They would be all over that squid as soon as it hit bottom, and so I'll probably try to do some of that too, because that big hammerhead I caught last year, I caught on pinfish. I actually had I had a live pinfish and a cut pinfish on the same hook, and that's what the hammerhead eat. So, and we were able to catch them pinfish right off the dock where we're staying, and I'm staying at that same place that I was at with Elias last year, so there should be some there, with it being roughly the same time of year. Last year we went in December, so I'm a little bit early compared to last year, but the water should be similar temperatures and stuff. My big concern down there this year is just going to be the wind. You know, the wind in the ocean it can be, if you got winds over about 10 miles an hour in the ocean, it can be really choppy. So hopefully we're going to have some days of low to calm winds that I can get out there. I'll probably still fish on the higher wind days, but I'll probably stay there closer to where we're staying. I'm not going to drive. The 7 Mile Bridge is about 40-45 minutes away from where I'm staying, and I don't want to make that long a drive just to get down there and not be able to even launch the kayak. So hopefully, surely to goodness, over the course of the week, the wind ain't gonna blow bad the whole week. Surely not. I don't want to jinx it, though. I better not say too much. I don't want to jinx it. That shark fishing, though, it's just like catfishing, just with much more powerful fights, much larger fish. I mean, you've got a piece of cut bait or a live bait on a hook, and they come and eat it. Now, just like you do for catfishing, you're just using heavier gear. I'm taking my Catfish Sumo Elite 150 rods. They're the heaviest rod in the Catfish Sumo lineup. I would argue it's probably one of the heaviest action catfish rods, period. I mean, those Elite 150 rods, you can deadlift 150 pounds with them. I mean, they are a stout rod. And I like that for the sharks because they're just raw power. You know, you want something that you can really pull back on them sharks, get some leverage. And so I'm taking those. I've got some size 50 Daiwa Seagate reels. Last year, last year I started with braid. I had braid to mono, and then had my wire leader, of course, for the sharks. And I had an incident. It's on video there, where I had a big shark take off, and my braid, just from the drag it was pulling the line, it was taking, my braid dug into itself, snapped my line. And so after that, I ended up switching my reels over to mono. I got some 50-pound mono, and that worked perfectly. So that's what I'm rolling with this year, just 50-pound mono down to my wire leaders. Because, you know, the line size doesn't really matter so much when you're in a kayak. If I was on the bank, if on the beach there fishing, or if I was in a boat, solid platform stuff, line size, you worry about it then. But in a kayak, that shark, it's going to tow you. It's going to pull you. So you don't have to worry. And my reels, I think they're like 20-something pounds maximum drag pressure, which I won't have mine locked down that tight. So I don't have to worry about line size. Mine is pretty much just, my concern is capacity, not getting spooled before I can catch up to a shark. Or if they run me through one of them crab pots, which I had that issue last year. Here's a fish. But I got my own shark leaders that I've made myself this year. I bought some materials. I bought some wire leader and some crimps. And so I'm going to try them anyway with the Catfish Sumo hangry hooks. Say something to these people, bluegill, would you? He ain't got nothing to say to you either. That fish right there says he wish I was already in Florida so I couldn't have hooked him just then. Old devil. But I bought this stuff. Last year I bought some pre-made shark leaders off eBay. And they were good. But I wasn't real happy with the hooks. They're a large hook. They were must-have hooks that was on these pre-made shark leaders. And I had some 12-aught size and some 14-aught size. And the 14-aught size hooks on those shark rigs, the hook size and the gap there in the circle hook, it was the same size as the 10-aught size catfish hooks that I use. I mean, there's no standardization in these catfish hooks from one company or even one style of hook to the next. I mean, for instance, I use Mustad Demon Circles for catfish, the fine wire, and then those hooks I had on the shark rigs, those were Mustad, different style of circle hook, but still same brand. 14-aught, 10-aught, same. You put them side by side. I mean, look, the gap, everything's the same. So I'm going to use the Catfish Sumo hangry hooks on the shark rigs that I have made. We'll see how they hold up. If they fail, then I've got the other pre-made shark rigs that I have left over. So I got a plan and I got a backup plan. I'm excited to try them out though. The wire leaders, it was, you know, I hadn't ever made my own wire leader before, but it was pretty easy to work with. And the crimping seemed simple. I had crimps at the house for just, you know, doing electrical stuff, so they were pretty easy to make. Now, whether or not they hold up when I got a 500-pound shark pulling me across the ocean, we'll see. Time will tell. I'm gonna have a good time down there, regardless. When I daydream about fishing trips, even though I love catfishing, I do it all the time. But when I daydream about fishing trips, it ain't catfish trips that I'm thinking about. It's catching them sharks. I guess it's just the novelty of it, the fact I can't do it very often. Maybe it's because sharks terrify me. I don't know. I don't know why it is, but it's so much fun. It's incredibly easy to do. At least, well, let me rephrase that. It's incredibly easy to get a shark to bite your bait. Landing a shark in a kayak, now that is a challenge. Especially when you're out in open water, you can't take them to shore. I caught some flack for that last year. You're in a no-win situation when you're fishing for sharks, because here's how it's going to go down. Either you're going to snip your leader and leave the hook in, which I think that's the best way to go, because things rust down there so quickly. I mean, my pliers, I had pliers and wire cutters, stainless steel. They were completely rusted in about 3 days last year. I mean, they looked like crap. So stuff rusts very quickly. So I think the best play with them sharks, get them up close to the kayak and cut that leader. The other alternative is to completely play that shark out to complete exhaustion, which is not good for the sharks. I mean, when you talk to people who are in the know about shark health, listen to their, watch them on video and stuff and read their work, doing that to a shark is very bad for their health. They build up a lot of lactic acid. Survival rates go down the longer that you play them out. But you have to do that if you're in open water and you're trying to get a hook out of a few 100-pound shark in a kayak. I mean, you got to play them out to be able to get that hook out. So you damned if you do and damned if you don't. People's going to complain no matter what. And then you're going to get people, when you do release the shark, regardless of how you do it, whether it's taking the hook out or snipping the leader, then you're going to have the other people chime in that hate sharks because they're down there after them snapper, which is them snapper are a big deal down there in Florida, or they're after tarpon, and they'll be hooking those fish, and the sharks come up and eat their catches as they're reeling them in. So they all hate sharks. Everybody in Florida hates sharks. So then they're pissed off at you on your video because you didn't kill the thing. So you can't, it don't matter what you do, you're wrong. It's just, so we'll see how it goes. My plan is to try to get the hooks out if I can safely and quickly do it. If not, we're going to get them up close, snip it, and they can just rust out. I don't think, I'm going to switch this Gulp out. That's what I think I'm going to do. We've had the same Gulp on for a while. I'm guessing all the juice is gone on it. We're not getting many bites down through here on these rocks. But, I don't even remember what I was going to say now. Like I tell you, I can tell you 1980s soap opera stuff from Days of Our Lives, watching it with my great-grandma, but I can't tell you the thought I just had a minute ago. I don't even know what the hell I was going to say. Yeah, it's gone. Whatever thought I had, it's completely gone. Done broke my train of thought. Oh, this is genius right here. So I've mentioned in other ultralight videos I keep my Gulp minnows in a pea cup because it's leak proof, right? And I set it here in my little cubby in the kayak. Well, recently I apparently hit a bump too hard, knocked the pea cup out, and it went down my pedal drive slot. I lost it. I got home, didn't have any more pea cup full of Gulp minnows. So what I done is I put me a washer in this pea cup, and I glued me some magnets there in the corner of the kayak. So now I put that in there, it ain't going nowhere. I can hit bumps going down the road, and that magnet holding that metal in place in that cup keep it from bouncing out. That's one of the better things I've come up with recently. Every once in a while I'm good for a decent idea or two. It ain't every day, but occasionally. Well, let's keep making our way here on these rocks a minute. If y'all will come along with me to do it, we'll finish out this little section here. And we may switch over. We may switch over here to the other side of the channel and hit this dock. I thought for sure we would get on some fish along these rocks, but it's just been very sporadic. Haven't got as many fish today overall as what I thought we would. It's been kind of a limited bite overall. But we've got enough to keep me entertained. Hopefully got enough to keep y'all entertained. That's what's most important for this video purpose. I'm going to be entertained regardless, but y'all need to be entertained to keep from falling asleep at the wheel for those of you on the road right now. I'll listen to music most of the way on this road trip, but I will at some point have to put on some podcasts. As I mentioned there with the Joe Rogan, I like Joe Rogan stuff, but I just ain't got time to watch or listen to a 2 to 3 hour podcast multiple times a week. Unless it's just somebody super interesting that I'm really wanting to learn about, I just can't do it. But I'll oftentimes watch the clips with well, y'all have seen them Joe Rogan clips, or it'll take a segment of the podcast and when something interesting is being said, and that'll be a separate video. That's kind of what I did with my second channel, Kayak Catfish Highlights channel. So I've had a lot of people through the years tell me that my videos are just too long. You know, if you get a video like this, for instance, it's probably going to be 3 hours long or so. We're out here fishing. My catfish videos, even the edited ones, they're probably, if you averaged them out, probably 30 minutes long. Some of them closer to an hour. A lot of people that may be interested in my content, here's a fish, will just never even consider watching my videos because of the length, right? They just ain't got time or desire to spend 30 minutes to an hour watching a kayak catfishing video. So that second channel, I'm shrinking videos down or taking clips of interesting things that happen and turning them into their own video for the people that just don't have time or desire. Kind of like the Joe Rogan clips. And so that channel's really worked out. It seems to be a lot of people. I'm reaching people that I wouldn't have reached otherwise, like this bluegill. I wouldn't have reached this bluegill if I hadn't cast over there. I'm trying to put you on the board. Let's see if you touch 8 inches, bluegill. You close. You about 1/4 inch short, unfortunately. Many of us, don't worry, bluegill, many of us have been told that. The bluegill didn't think that was funny. There's probably some grandparents watching with their grandkids right now didn't think that was funny either. We'll see if that next fish over there thinks it's funny when I throw a jig right in their face. I thought we might get some smallmouth on these rocks. It just hadn't taken place yet. Boys, there's a friend that Daphne would like to make over there behind us barking. Well, it shuts up now that I mentioned it. If only it worked like that all the time. Surprised we ain't heard the leaf blowers out here today. All these houses around here. Today would have been a good day to do it. It was sunny when I got out here, but the clouds have rolled in since we've been filming this. Yeah, we're gonna fish down here at the edge of these rocks, and then we're gonna go over here behind us and hit these other trees and docks on this side of the channel. We just crisscrossing like that old rap group Crisscross. Y'all remember them? Jump, Jump. I think I had a cassette tape in 3rd or 4th grade. I think one of them died. Drugs, I think it was. Everybody's dying of fentanyl now. That stuff's everywhere. I worry about somebody. I probably shouldn't even say this. You speak things into existence. But you worry about somebody, some psycho putting that stuff in. Maybe they're a fast food employee, and they put that stuff in your food, and you don't know it. It kill you. It kill you fast. A lot of people have died from it. I've really got to the point now. I hate eating out. I don't eat out very much. The fast food places is all garbage. About once a week, I'll get cookout because it's kind of one of them treats. We don't have a cookout where I live. So if I go to Knoxville, I'll stop by cookout. But otherwise, I don't eat out much. I go to Longhorn and get a steak about once a week, once every other week. Did you see that? I set that hook on that leaf. y'all just ignore that. I was raring down on that thing. I just knew I had a fish hit that as I was reeling it in. But the Longhorn they got a pretty good steak up there. I met one of the cooks at that one in West Knoxville. I was in there eating. He recognized me. He's a dang good cook, I'll tell you that. All the times I've been to Longhorn, I've never had a bad meal there. Even if you go up there on a Saturday night, they always get you in quick. You don't have to, sometimes you go to a Texas Roadhouse or an Olive Garden on a busy night, you have to wait 30 minutes or longer to get a table. Even on busy nights, I've never had to wait long at Longhorn. I just can't believe we ain't got a lot of fish on these rocks right here. Oh, I had one follow it just then. I had a bluegill follow it. We'll make a couple more casts right here, and we're gonna go over here behind me and hit them docks and trees over there. Got crow up there. You see him? What is it about crow? It used to be something. If you saw a crow, something was about to change. There's some old wives' tale about that. I don't know. I don't remember. That's another one of the things maybe I'll be able to remember once I get my DNA test back. When I get the right vitamins in me, I'm going to be able to remember stupid crap like that don't matter, to go along with the other stupid crap that don't matter that I can recall from the 80s. Yeah, I'm giving up on these rocks. We're going to go over here and let's go over here and see if we can get over here behind us. At least, even though the sun is gone, it's still comfortable out here. Start right here at this dock and keep making our way on out of this creek. There's a lot of laydowns over here too with these trees. We're liable to hook something on it. That flag up there, it's got Tennessee for half of it and Texas A&M on half of it. And I've got my line. I've ran over my line here, y'all. Lord Almighty. What the heck have I done? There we go. That flag, that don't make no damn sense. Texas A&M, they fired Jimbo Fisher. Allegedly got to pay him $70 million. That was guaranteed on his contract. I'll tell you, I've went into the wrong line of work multiple times in my life. Being a college football coach is apparently where it's at. When you can get paid $70 million to just go away, I mean, that's where it's at. I remember seeing a video clip a few years ago from old Ed Orgeron. He was talking about when he got fired at LSU. He said of course he's talking in his Cajun tone, you know. He was the perfect coach for LSU just from a cultural standpoint. But he was talking about when they brought him in to fire him. They said, you know, Coach, we're going to let you go, but you got X amount of dollars, whatever it was, on his contract. We're going to go ahead and pay you. And he said, what door you want me to go out and when you want me to leave? I thought I'd be the same way. I'd be like, you paying me millions of dollars to not work? Sure. Sign me up, buddy. I guarantee you old Jimbo Fisher's the same way. Oh, we had one at the end. He about stole it. We just put that new Gulp on. He about stole it. We got a thief over here on this tree. I'll throw over there and see if I can catch him this time. Y'all call citizen's arrest on him here. Trying to steal my Gulp. He ain't gonna bite again. He knows y'all gonna do citizen's arrest. Gonna pull a Barney Fife on him here. He ain't gonna bite it again. He learned his lesson, I reckon. We'll see if we can find another one that ain't learned a lesson. One thing I got to figure out when I go to Florida is how I'm going to do. So I'm in these survivor leagues on the NFL. One of them I do is a $20 league on CBS that I've played in with some people for several years. I've lost in it. But I'm in some other ones on DraftKings that I'm still in. And it's one of them online sports betting sites. There's fish. This fish right here, so he's going to make me a bet he's going to spit that hook. I'm going to take him up on it too, because this one ain't getting away. This fish right here ain't got nothing to pay me with. These bluegill operate on a barter system, not money. Sorry, bluegill, I take cash, not checks. He couldn't sign his name to a check, no way. But anyway, you get on them DraftKings sites, and the sports betting thing is legal in Tennessee. It got legalized here, I think, like 2 years ago, something like that. But that, even though you're a Tennessee resident and you can do it, you have to be in Tennessee to be able to use the app and place bets. And since it tracks your GPS location to confirm that you are somewhere where it's legal, well, the sports betting is not legal in Florida. So I don't know how I'm going to get my Survivor League picks in. I'll be coming back. I'm checking out the following Saturday. So I need to make it. I guess I need to make it home by 1 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday to be able to get my picks in. Because I don't know if it's legal in Georgia or not. I'll have to look that up. If it's legal in Georgia, assuming I split up my drive again on the way back, which I'm sure I will. Here's another fish. Then I could pick my teams when I got to Georgia. I could just tell this fish my password and let him do it for me, but he'd probably mess it up. This fish right here would probably. He looks like a type of fish that would pick Carolina. Lord knows they ain't going to win another game the rest of the season, so. I couldn't trust that fish to do nothing for me. I like them Survivor Leagues, though. I gotten several. There's another fish. But we're on some right here. Dallas, when Dallas lost to Josh Dobbs in Arizona, that knocked me out of one league. And Buffalo losing to New England knocked me out of another. Which Josh Dobbs, I shouldn't have went against him anyway, because he's a former Tennessee quarterback. Played college ball here. Great kid. You can't not root for this guy. He's in Minnesota now, where Arizona was very stupidly traded him for basically nothing. So happy to see him doing good in Minnesota, but I hated to see him beat Dallas that day and knock me out of Survivor League. I think that was a fish swirling right there. Let's throw right over there. Got on some fish here all of a sudden. I guess them rocks, they just ain't, they're on the wood. They ain't on the rocks today. Just wasn't nothing going over on them quarry rocks, but the trees that we've hit have had some fish. Oh, missed one there. Make a few more casts here and we're gonna move along. We was catching them there and then now they've quit. I guess that fish got offended I wasn't going to give it my DraftKings password. Now he's told all his friends, and now ain't none of them going to bite. There, well, lost him. Let's throw over here a little bit to the left. See what that'll do for us. Well, apparently ain't gonna do nothing for us. All right. Well, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. We'll go on till we find some more. Every one of these trees down through here looks good, though. I mean, they all look like they could be just stacked with fish. You get trees like that, it's all what I call jig catching branches on there. You throw into that mess, you ain't getting your bait back, that's for sure. The people up there's got the door open. You know it's a nice day in November when you can have your door open. Never hear me complaining about warm weather this time of year, that's for sure. It's just it's a crapshoot around here this time of year. You're either going to have, you could have 70-degree days, you could have 30-degree days, depending on the year. One year it snowed on Thanksgiving. This year's Thanksgiving will probably be 60-something degrees. Usually though, January, February is where it gets really cold here. If we're going to have a decent snow, that's usually when it's going to happen. January, February. That year we got the blizzard in '93, I was a kid. It happened in March. But most time January, February. Let's move along over here. Make one more cast right here, and we're going to move on down to these other docks. All right, let's go down here to these docks. Well, I nailed that dang tree, didn't I? Hit that thing with the pedal drive. I keep a spare prop with me just in case. Never know. I ain't never broke a prop, but you don't carry one with you. That's when you're gonna have a problem. That's what I was hoping to avoid right there. I knew with that door open, either people are in there eavesdropping on us, having this conversation, or there's going to be an animal come out, start hollering at us. We're just going to go down here and get away from them. Weird about that. I don't like talking on this thing when people's around. Always been like it. I don't know why I'm like that, but I am. Fortunately, there's all kinds of stuff all the way down through here to throw at. We ain't confined to any one particular spot doing this style of fishing. We can just make our way along and find plenty more places. It's been a real nice day to get out here though. Ain't got as many fish as I would have liked to have had. We keep having this line problem, which I blame on that buffalo. Totally worth it if it was the cause of it. But nice day. Really, really nice day. There's probably got to be some fish around this dock. This is an older dock here. That wood over there's got stuff growing off of it. Got a squirrel hopping along up there. He's shaking his tail now. The old squirrel. Trying to get him a cameo. I bet you there's been some people that's got them some squirrels and used them for catfish bait. I bet you it's happened. That's probably somebody's grandpa's secret bait. Catches catfish every time they go out. I bet you there is. This area here's got some leaves we got to work around. We've been pretty fortunate down through here with the leaf situation. All these leaves, they fall into the water, and you cast over them in your line, and you're using this light jig. The line catches on the leaf and stops the fall of the jig. And aside from the culvert at the very back of this creek, we really haven't had any problems with the leaves. I really wanted to fish that culvert, make some casts in there, but there was just so many leaves around it and back in there, you just couldn't get a decent cast in there. Of course, we didn't start really getting bit until we got farther out from it, so may not have done no good anyway. I feel like I've had a good day regardless. Even with not catching as many fish, the fish we have, we've got some good bluegill. That buffalo made the trip. It'd be nice to hook a decent smallmouth. I feel like the universe may give me a decent smallmouth at some point soon, just because of my failed trip to Del Hollow. The universe will take pity on me, maybe. It is weird, though, to not really see any kind of bait action. Like, there's no shad flipping out here. We saw shad. I saw a few on the way into that creek, kind of back there by that other dock, where we were getting a lot more fish, but the back of it, not so much. Out here, I mean, you can see it's just dead out here. We'll let that thing sink down a little bit. I think these docks out here got a little bit more depth to them. Obviously impossible to know without the graph on here, but I think just from memory, I think they're a little deeper. Yeah, they're deeper, all right. I've caught the dock. There it comes. Got lucky there. All right, well, let's go down here and try this one. Make a cast or two around it. It seems like when we've got bit today, where we found a few outside of the buffalo, which was on the dock, most of the fish have come on trees. The docks and the rocks haven't really produced all that much. I gotta change this line out before I go to Florida though. It's a mess. It's just wanting to fall off this reel with the bell open. It's been a while since I changed this line. I normally do it usually every 2 to 3 trips, just to keep everything fresh and casting good. But I really think it was that buffalo that stretched everything out. If we pulled off 50 yards of this line, it would probably be good. But I don't want to do that. I've done subjected you to enough reties already. I'm not going to do that to you. Trying to make some cast here on this part of this tree. Oh, I don't know if that was a fish that hit me or if I caught that on a branch. Oh, my dang line again, y'all. We're having a hard time. Definitely some more leaves out through here, though. I guess the wind was blowing this direction, probably pushed all this crap out. How long have we been doing this now for video purposes? 2 hours and something. Well, if you've stuck with me this long, thank you. I want you to know I appreciate you. I've been amazed at the amount of people who have watched these style of videos and like these style of videos. I certainly like making them, so y'all keep watching, we keep doing it. I'm going to do it regardless, but whether or not it gets filmed is up to people watching. I'm kind of thinking about making a run out of this creek. Because the wind, the wind was blowing pretty good when I come out here today, and got back in here in this creek to try to get away from it. But now we get out here, I mean, it's calm. Since these clouds moved in, things have just really got calm out here, which that may be affecting the bite too, possibly. Maybe some kind of something with the weather going on. Kind of want to make a run downstream though. Hit a little pocket out there on the main channel. See what's going on there. Make a few more casts through here before we do any kind of considerations like that. At least work down here to this houseboat for sure. We've definitely, though, that one stretch where I saw the bait, that was definitely the most productive stretch of this creek so far today. We've caught some fish. We got a few on them rocks over there. We got a few off that tree when we switched over to the other side of the channel. But we were getting a lot more further back in that one stretch where the bait was. Oh, dang it. Y'all done cast it over that branch. What'd you do that for? I told you not to do that. I told you not to. You don't ever listen to me. Let's get over here and get it. Pretty sure we can get this one back for you. I see it there. We're going to get it. Probably gonna get some spiders all over me on this other tree trying, but all right. Somehow or another, that thing. Look what yous have done. How did you cast? I can't figure out which direction the dang line's going around that branch. I don't know what yous have done here. That dang jig fell direct, it fell perfectly around them two branches. I'm having a hard time. I thought for sure we were getting this one back because I could see the dang thing. It's so close to the surface, but I don't know if we're going to get it without me leaning over here and dang near flipping us. Lord help us here. Goodness gracious. I don't know how y'all have done this. Let's see if we can get up here. I'm about to break this line accidental trying to get down here to it. Now, I could have put a new jig on, had us retied in the time it's taken me to get this mess sorted out. Look at that. I mean, it went around two dang branches. It must have fell perfect down there. Oh, you couldn't do that again if you tried. You could have somebody pay you $1,000 to repeat that cast. You couldn't do it in 100 chances. Okay, we're back in the game though. Let's fix this back on there. Yeah, it still looks pretty good. Surely after all that, we're due for a fish. Surely. Oh, there's more people out there at this house. You can't get away from people out here today. That's the one bad thing about nice weather is everybody's outside. Now if I make a run down here to this other spot, there ain't no houses around it. We're just having a hard time up through here. Let's go over here and cast around this houseboat. We don't get nothing here. I'm gonna make a run. Get out here in the main channel, hit the other little pocket since the wind is completely dead now. It's been a big change since I got out here. It was sunny and the wind was blowing, and now it's cloudy and dead. Golly, but my line. I don't know if this line's going to survive the trip. Can't keep it on the spool. We're persevering though, ain't we? We getting through it. Positive mental attitude. Thought that was a fish up under that dock, but I think it's a leaf. A leaf-shaped fish. Alright, I'm gonna run over here and throw at this tree, and I'm gonna take off for that pocket out on the main channel. We'll see what it'll do. I don't think we can do no worse in that pocket than what I've done here in this section of the creek. Just don't seem to be a whole lot out here. Could be this weather change too though. It could be something going on, because I mean there ain't no shad Ain't nothing flipping out here. But actually, you see them little things hitting the water? I think it may be starting to rain. I don't feel it. All these clouds coming in, it makes sense. I didn't think it's going to rain today. That's all I need to get a dang monsoon out here. Yeah, there just don't seem to be anything around these trees. What'd y'all do with the fish? Y'all hiding them somewhere. You'd think one of these trees out here would just be, because we've casted so many with nothing on them. There we go. You'd think we'd come across that one tree that was just stacked loaded with fish. And that may be how it is. They may all just be just a big school of them bunched up on one tree. This one right here probably wasn't alone. I bet you he's got a friend or two over there. Billy Bad Bluegill and the gang, you know. That's where all the cool kids hang out, on this tree right here. I'm about over there though. Maybe he was alone. Maybe he was the first one to get there. He's one of them bluegill that likes to show up on time. He's punctual. Or maybe it's like Happy Gilmore. Well, what was that joke they played on Happy Gilmore? It was 9 o'clock on the ninth green or something, and he was out there and the sprinklers turned on. They've played a joke on that bluegill. I may be about to nail my pedal drive again. No, we crossed it. 9 o'clock on the ninth green. I think that's what it was. That was a classic movie. They don't make them like that anymore. I'm not a big Adam Sandler movie person, but Happy Gilmore was definitely that was the best movie he ever made. Yeah, Stump apparently ain't got nothing on either over there. We're just having a hard time out here, y'all. I think I'm gonna make a run. I think I'm gonna go out here, and there's a little pocket down here out in the main channel. I think I'm gonna go check it out, see what's going on. It's weird, you know, we back of the creek, nothing. That one section we're getting bit pretty consistently. Now you get out here and you know you gotta beg for a fish to bite. So I don't know, I think I'm just gonna see what's going on out here in this little pocket downstream. But we're 3 hours into this crap now. Most of you's probably done tuned out, so I think I'll just run down here, maybe get me a little off camera fishing time. That probably, when I turn the camera off, that's when I'm gonna start getting bit. Murphy's Law, you know how it is. But anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. Again, this video probably be out of order, probably be this video and then a couple catfish trips after this that I've already filmed, and then assuming I get some content in Florida, which, boy, I sure hope I do. I hope there's some big sharks coming. That content will be after that. So anyway, thanks again for those of you that watch these videos. Appreciate you, and especially those of you that stick with me this time of year and these fall and winter months when views go down to crapper. It really means a lot that you stick with me. So anyway, thank y'all. Have a I don't know if you'll see this before or after Thanksgiving. Hope you have a good holiday season no matter what. I'll see you in the next video.